When we look back at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, one image dominates the historical record: Jesse Owens standing on the track, a singular force dismantling Adolf Hitler's myth of Aryan supremacy. This singular spotlight cast such a long shadow that a rumor persisted for decades that Owens had a secret brother running right alongside him to push him to gold. The truth involves a completely different family dynasty. Owens was part of a tight-knit vanguard of 6 other extraordinary black athletes who traveled to Nazi Germany, but their contributions were largely omitted from the popular narrative. These athletes emerged from crushing poverty. Many were born to sharecroppers in places like Cairo, Georgia, eventually joining the Great Migration to escape the systemic violence and segregation of the Jim Crow South. Before they could ever challenge fascism on the global stage, they had to survive a system designed to suppress them in their own country. The depth of this roster was staggering. Take Ulyss Peacock, seen here shaking hands with Owens. In 1935, sports analysts picked Peacock to take the gold in Berlin. He had raced Owens in the 100-meter dash 3 separate times that year and defeated him in every matchup. But a few months prior to the Olympic trials, Peacock suffered a catastrophic hamstring tear. The injury decimated his leg, closing his window of physical performance and sidelining the man widely projected to win it all. The hurdles were even higher for the women on the team, who faced a double wall of discrimination based on both race and gender. While traveling to the Olympic trials, athletes like Tidye Pickett and Louise Stokes were completely isolated from their white teammates. They were forced by their own countrymen to eat their meals in basement kitchens and sleep in segregated hotel quarters. Yet, despite arriving battered by domestic racism, Pickett stepped onto the track in Berlin and made history as one of the very first African-American women to ever compete in the Olympic Games. The American establishment happily exported these athletes to prove national superiority, demanding global excellence from individuals they actively refused to treat as equal citizens. Arriving in Berlin meant entering a heavily militarized environment meticulously designed to showcase Nazi power. The American resource gap was starkly visible on the track. While Jesse Owens competed in brand-new, state-of-the-art spikes provided by the founder of Adidas, his black teammates were largely ignored by corporate sponsors. Mack Robinson, the older brother of future baseball legend Jackie Robinson, competed against the world's elite wearing the exact same worn-out, torn shoes he had used all season at his junior college in Pasadena. Despite the physical handicap, Robinson flew. He crossed the 200-meter finish line in 21.1 seconds. He shattered the previous Olympic record, yielding the gold to Owens by fractions of a second. Robinson's silver and Owens' gold stood as a direct, undeniable refutation of the racial ideologies being broadcast from Berlin and the systemic neglect back in Pasadena. Raw speed was only part of the equation. The vanguard's dominance also relied on tactical intellect, best demonstrated by a 21-year-old college freshman named John Woodruff, whose 9-foot stride made him a favorite in the 800-meter run. This schematic shows what happened during the final. A group of experienced European runners recognized Woodruff's rhythm and intentionally boxed him in against the inside rail, slowing the pace to a crawl. Trapped, Woodruff faced disqualification if he pushed out, so he executed a risky countermove. He stopped dead, letting the entire pack sprint past him, dropping to the very back of the field. Then, stepping wide into the outermost lane, he restarted. Utilizing his enormous stride, he systematically hunted down every runner on the track, overtaking the leader on the final turn to claim gold. His victory was matched by mechanical engineering student Archie Williams taking gold in the 400-meter dash, and veteran Ralph Metcalf securing silver in the 100-meter. In a deeply hostile and prejudiced environment, these forgotten heroes conquered the global stage through a combination of physical power and superior tactical mastery. When the Games concluded, the team sailed back to the United States. There were no commercial sponsorships or national honors waiting for them. Returning to Pasadena with a silver medal around his neck, Mack Robinson faced a heavily segregated employment market. The only job his city offered the Olympic hero was a night shift position sweeping the streets. In a silent, powerful act of daily defiance, Robinson wore his official leather USA Olympic jacket every single night while he cleaned the gutters. The physical toll of international competition, coupled with zero ongoing medical or financial support, caused many of their athletic careers to end shortly after the Games. After defying the Nazi regime, these athletes were met at home by a domestic policy that sought to neutralize their influence and restrict their opportunities. But this group refused to fade away. They took the immense discipline they learned on the track and pivoted directly into institutional action against American racism. Archie Williams transitioned his engineering background from the track to the skies. He became a flight instructor for the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, the all-black military pilot regiment that paved the way for integration in the armed forces. Ralph Metcalf carried his veteran discipline into politics. He eventually became a high-profile U.S. congressman representing Illinois, where he spent his life legislating for civil rights. By moving into the military, into the classroom, and the halls of Congress, this group translated their athletic discipline into a lifelong challenge against the structures of segregation. Their presence in these new arenas proved that the same focus used to break world records could be leveraged to break domestic barriers.